A billionaire's daughter sees a poor mother sleeping with her baby on the sidewalk, and what she asks her father is unbelievable. The night in Seattle was freezing cold. Michael Harrison was driving through the empty streets, the silence inside the car broken only by the low sound of the heater. In the back seat, Olivia looked out the window with wide blue eyes, curious about everything she saw. At 5 years old, she had light blonde hair that fell to her shoulders and a sweet expression that melted anyone. That night, they were returning from a business dinner that had run too late. Michael felt the exhaustion hitting him, but he didn't show it. He was a tall man with short blonde hair and light eyes that conveyed seriousness. A discreet, successful billionaire businessman. Nothing ostentatious, just results. He preferred it that way, away from the spotlight, away from speculation. He built his empire with hard work and precise decisions. Now at 36, he ran one of the largest tech companies on the West Coast. But none of that mattered as much as the little girl in the back seat. Olivia was everything to him. After her mother died 3 years ago, Michael swore he would do anything to give his daughter a happy and secure life, even if it meant working less, being more present, giving up travel. "Daddy, look!" Olivia pointed to the window. Michael instinctively slowed down. "What is it, sweetie?" "Over there. There's a lady sleeping on the ground." He quickly turned his face and saw it. On the sidewalk, huddled against the wall of an abandoned building, was a woman. She was wearing a thin, worn jacket, totally inadequate for the cold that night. In her arms, a small baby wrapped in a blanket that had seen better days. Michael felt a pang in his chest. "Daddy, she has a little baby." Olivia's voice was full of concern. He stopped the car a few feet ahead. He stayed there, hands on the steering wheel, trying to process what to do. It wasn't uncommon to see unhoused people in that part of the city, but something about that scene touched him differently. Maybe it was the baby. Maybe it was the way the woman held him, protective even in the middle of her sleep. Or maybe it was because he knew that if he were in her place, he would want someone to stop. Before he could decide anything, Olivia opened the car door. "Olivia!" Michael quickly turned, but she was already getting out, holding her little pink coat with both hands. She ran to the sidewalk, stopping right next to the woman and the baby. Michael got out of the car immediately, his heart racing. He approached slowly, watching his daughter crouch in front of that unknown mother. Olivia carefully took off her own coat and placed it over the baby, covering the child gently. The touch made the woman stir. She slowly opened her eyes, confused, and saw Olivia right there. Her light eyes were tired, swollen, with marks of sleepless nights. Her blonde hair was pulled back in a messy bun, with loose strands falling onto her pale face. "Sorry," the woman whispered, her voice hoarse. "I didn't mean to." Olivia smiled innocently. "It's okay. I just wanted the baby to be warm." The woman blinked several times, as if she couldn't believe what she was seeing. She squeezed the baby closer to her chest, protectively. Michael finally approached, standing beside Olivia. He saw the fear in the woman's eyes, fear of being judged, of being expelled, of being mistreated. He knew that look. It was the look of someone who had been through too much. "My name is Michael," he spoke calmly. "This is my daughter, Olivia." The woman didn't reply, she just watched, tense. "Daddy?" Olivia tugged at the sleeve of his blazer. "Can we help her?" Michael looked at his daughter. Those blue eyes were full of pure empathy, without judgment, without prejudice. Just the genuine desire to help. He turned his gaze back to the woman. "What is your name?" "Riley." The answer came out low, almost inaudible. "My name is Riley. And the baby?" "Aria." Riley looked at her daughter in her arms. "She's 10 months old." Michael took a deep breath. He could see the exhaustion on Riley's face, the way she shivered from the cold, the way she held the baby as if she were the only thing that mattered in the world. "Daddy, please." Olivia held his hand, her voice almost begging. "She needs help." He was silent for a few seconds. His logical businessman's mind told him to be cautious, to think about the consequences. But something deeper, something he had forgotten long ago, spoke louder. He looked at Riley again, She didn't look dangerous. She just looked broken. "Riley." Michael crouched down to her level. "Do you have somewhere to stay tonight?" She shook her head, her eyes filling with tears. "Then come with me." He extended his hand. "I'll take you somewhere warm, with food and a real bed." Riley froze. She looked at his hand, then at Olivia's face, who was smiling hopefully. I can't accept this." She shook her head. "You don't even know us." "And you don't know us either." Michael kept his hand extended. "But sometimes we need to trust." Olivia moved closer, touching Riley's arm gently. "Please, come with us. The baby is cold." Riley looked at Arya, who was sleeping peacefully in her arms, oblivious to everything. A tear rolled down Riley's face. She knew she had no choice. One more night in that cold could be dangerous for the baby. Arya had coughed during the afternoon, and Riley was terrified of the possibility of her daughter getting sick. Slowly, her legs trembling from the cold and fatigue, Riley accepted Michael's hand and stood up. He held her arm to help, feeling how too light she was. Too fragile. Riley pointed to an old bag leaning against the wall. That was all she had. Some diapers, a change of clothes for Arya, an extra shirt for herself. Olivia grabbed the bag before anyone could say anything and ran to the car. Michael accompanied Riley to the vehicle, opening the back door for her. Riley got in slowly, holding Arya carefully. Olivia got in beside her, placing the bag on the floor. Michael returned to the driver's seat and started the car, turning the heater up to maximum. "It'll take about 15 minutes to get to my house." He looked in the rearview mirror. "Make yourself comfortable." Riley just nodded, unable to speak. Everything was happening so fast she could barely process it. Olivia took the pink coat she had placed over Arya and adjusted it better around the baby. "She's so tiny." Olivia smiled. "How old is she?" 10 months, Riley replied softly. "I'm 5 years old," Olivia said proudly. "I'm already big," Riley managed a faint smile, the first in a long time. "You are very kind." Olivia tilted her head, thoughtful. "My mommy used to say we always have to help those who need it. She's in heaven now, but I remember." Riley felt her chest tighten. That little girl was only 5 years old and already knew about loss, and yet she continued to be light. The car drove silently through the streets of Seattle. Riley looked out the window, watching the city lights pass by. It seemed unreal. Just a few hours ago, she was desperate, not knowing how she was going to protect her daughter from the cold. Now she was inside a warm car, next to people who didn't know her but decided to help. Michael looked in the rearview mirror occasionally, observing Riley. He saw the way she held the baby, the exhaustion on her face, the way she trembled even with the heater on. How long had she been on the street? He wouldn't ask now. She needed rest first. The questions could wait. They finally arrived. Michael drove through the automatic gate of a large but not exaggerated house. It was elegant, discreet, with a well-maintained front yard and soft lights illuminating the entrance. Riley swallowed hard. Of course he was rich, very rich. "We're here." Michael parked in the garage and got out, opening the door for Riley. She got out slowly, holding Arya. The baby moved a little, but continued sleeping. Olivia picked up the bag again and ran to the front door, waiting for her father to open it. When they entered, Riley immediately felt the warmth. The house was beautiful inside, decorated with good taste, but it had a welcoming feel. It wasn't cold like she imagined a billionaire's house would be. There were photos on the walls. Michael and Olivia in various moments. A larger portrait showed the two of them with a blonde woman with a sweet smile. That must be Olivia's mother. "Let me take your coat." Michael held out his hand. Riley hesitated. The jacket was old, worn, but it was all she had. "You can trust me," he smiled slightly. "I'll hang it here and give it back later." She took off the jacket, feeling ashamed of its condition. Underneath, she wore a thin shirt and jeans ripped at the knees, not for fashion, but from wear. Michael hung up the coat without showing any judgment. "Come. You must be hungry." Riley followed him to the kitchen with Olivia by her side. The girl held Riley's free hand, as if they were already friends. In the kitchen, Michael began to prepare something. He was practical, straightforward. He grabbed bread, eggs, cheese, ham. In a few minutes, he had prepared warm sandwiches and poured 2 glasses of milk. "Sit down," he gestured to the table. Riley sat, still holding Arya. She didn't want to let go of the baby. It was as if she let go, everything would disappear. "You need to eat." Michael placed a sandwich in front of her. "When was the last time?" Riley didn't answer. She couldn't remember. Yesterday morning, the day before yesterday. Olivia sat next to her, looking at Arya curiously. "Is she going to wake up?" "Maybe." Riley spoke softly. "She's very tired." "Can I get my toys for her?" Olivia asked excitedly. "You can." Riley smiled faintly. "But only tomorrow, when she wakes up." Olivia nodded, satisfied. Michael watched everything in silence. There was something about Riley's presence that stirred him. It wasn't pity, it was admiration. Riley took the sandwich with one hand, trying not to wake Arya. She took the first bite and closed her eyes. It was warm, tasty, simple, but for her it was a feast. She began to eat slowly but soon sped up. The hunger was too great. Michael prepared more sandwiches without asking anything. He put 3 on her plate. When Riley finished the second one, she realized she was crying. Silent tears streamed down her face. "Sorry." She quickly wiped the tears away. "I didn't." "You don't need to apologize." Michael spoke firmly, but gently. Olivia moved closer and hugged Riley's arm. "Don't cry. It's all okay now." Riley looked at that small girl, with pure blue eyes and a huge heart. How could she have so much empathy at just 5 years old? "Thank you," Riley whispered. "Thank you so much." Michael took a deep breath. "I'm going to show you where you can sleep tonight." He guided her to one of the guest rooms on the first floor. It was simple but comfortable. A large bed with clean white sheets, a nightstand with a soft light lamp, a wardrobe and a private bathroom. "There are new towels in there." Michael pointed to the bathroom. "And if you need anything, my room is the last one down the hall." Riley slowly entered the room, incredulous. I don't know how to thank you." "You don't need to thank me for anything." Michael leaned against the door. "Just rest." Olivia appeared running with a little pink blanket in her hands. "For baby Arya." She handed it to Riley with a huge smile. Riley accepted it, holding the blanket with affection. "Oh, she's going to love it." Michael put his hand on Olivia's shoulder tenderly. "Let's let them rest. Good night, Riley." "Good night," she replied softly. Olivia waved before leaving. "See you tomorrow." When the door closed, Riley stood there in the middle of the room, holding Arya. She looked around. A real bed, clean covers, warmth, safety. She walked to the bathroom and saw her reflection in the mirror. She was unrecognizable. Pale face, deep, dark circles, chapped lips. She looked like she had aged 10 years in a few months. She returned to the room and lay down slowly on the bed, placing Arya beside her and covering both with the pink blanket Olivia had given her. The baby snuggled up against her, letting out a small sigh. Riley ran her hand through her daughter's thin blonde hair. Arya was so small, so fragile, and Riley had failed her so much. But today, by some miracle, she had found help. She closed her eyes, and for the first time in months, felt like she could really sleep, without fear, without cold, without despair, just safe. And there, on that cold Seattle morning, the destiny of 4 people had changed completely. Riley woke up to the sound of birds chirping outside. For a moment, she didn't know where she was. The mattress was too soft. The sheets smelled like lavender, and there was soft light coming through the window. Then the memory came back. The cold night. Olivia putting her coat over Arya, Michael extending his hand. She looked to the side. Arya was still sleeping, peaceful, her face relaxed. Riley touched the baby's forehead. It was warm, but not feverish. Thank goodness. She got up slowly, took a quick shower, and put on the same clothes from yesterday. She had no other option. When she went downstairs, she found Michael in the kitchen making coffee. He was wearing a casual shirt and jeans, quite different from the suit of the night before. "Good morning," he smiled. "Did you sleep well?" "Better than I've slept in a long time," Riley admitted. "Sit down, I'm making pancakes." Riley sat at the table, holding Arya in her lap. The baby had just woken up and was looking at everything curiously. Olivia came running in, already in her pajamas, her blonde hair messy. "Good morning," she approached Riley. "Can I say good morning to Arya?" "Of course." Olivia stood on her tiptoes and gave the baby a little kiss on the cheek. Arya gave a toothless smile, and Olivia practically melted. She smiled at me. "Daddy." Michael turned and smiled too. "I saw it, sweetie." They had breakfast together. Michael served pancakes with maple syrup, fruit, and juice. Riley ate slowly, still getting used to the feeling of having real food. After breakfast, Olivia went to play with Arya in the living room. Michael and Riley remained seated at the table. He poured more coffee for both of them and took a deep breath. "Riley, I don't want to be invasive, but if you want to talk about what happened, I will listen." Riley was silent for a moment. She stirred her cup, looking at the dark liquid. Maybe it was time to tell him. Maybe he deserved to know. "I met Arya's father 2 years ago," she began, her voice low. "He seemed like a nice guy. He worked, had plans, treated me well." Michael listened attentively, without interrupting. "When I found out I was pregnant, I thought he was going to be happy." Riley gave a bitter smile. "But he panicked. He said he wasn't ready, that it was too soon." She paused, feeling the lump in her throat. "He gave me money and disappeared. He blocked my number, left town. I never saw him again." Michael gripped his cup tightly. He felt angry at someone he didn't even know. "I was working as a waitress," Riley continued. "It wasn't much, but it was enough to pay for rent and food. When Arya was born, I tried to keep working. I managed to get a neighbor to look after her while I was on shift." She wiped away a tear that threatened to fall. "But Arya got sick. She had an infection and had to be hospitalized. I stayed 3 days in the hospital with her. When I went back to work, I was fired. They said I wasn't reliable." Michael shook his head, incredulous. "I tried to find another job, but no one hires a single mother with a small baby." Riley looked at her hands. "And without a job, I couldn't pay the rent." "They evicted you?" "Yes," she nodded. "I had 2 days to get out. I didn't have family. I didn't have close friends. I tried shelters, but they were full. I ended up on the street." Riley took a deep breath, trying to control her emotions. "In the beginning, I stayed on park benches, trying to hide. But with a baby, people look at you differently. Some had pity, others had disgust. And I couldn't get a job because I didn't have an address, nowhere to shower, no clean clothes." Michael felt his chest tighten. How could someone go through that alone? "I tried everything." Riley looked at him, her eyes red. "I asked for help, tried social programs, but everything was so bureaucratic, so slow. And meanwhile, Arya needed to eat. She needed diapers. She needed to be warm." "You are very strong, Riley." "I'm not." She shook her head. "I just did what I had to do. I had no choice." Michael reached across the table and touched her hand. "You protected your daughter. That is being strong." Riley finally let the tears fall. "I failed her. I should have done better." "You did the best you could." At that moment, Olivia entered the kitchen, holding Arya in her lap. The baby was laughing, and Olivia had the biggest smile on her face. But when she saw Riley crying, Olivia stopped. "Why are you sad?" Riley quickly wiped her tears. "It's nothing, darling." Olivia handed Arya back to Riley, and without warning hugged her. It was a tight hug, full of affection. Olivia didn't fully understand what was happening, but she felt Riley's pain. "My mommy used to say a hug cures everything." Olivia spoke softly. Riley held Olivia with one arm and Arya with the other. She cried even more, but now it was a cry of relief. Michael watched the scene, deeply moved. There was something about that woman that moved him. It wasn't pity, it was admiration. Riley had fought alone, without support, without resources, and yet she had protected her daughter tooth and nail. How many people would have given up in her place? "Riley," Michael spoke firmly, "you are not going back to the street." She looked up, confused. "Stay here, for as long as you need," he continued. "We'll figure this out together." "I can't accept this." Riley shook her head. You've already done too much. You can and you will accept it. Michael stood up. I'm not going to let you and Arya go back to the sidewalk. Riley didn't know what to say. Part of her wanted to refuse, to maintain her pride. But another part, the part that was exhausted, that was afraid, that just wanted to protect her daughter, accepted. Thank you, she whispered. I will find a way to repay you. You don't need to repay anything. Michael smiled faintly. Just accept the help. Olivia let go of Riley and clapped her hands. So you're staying? She asked excitedly. For now. Riley replied. Yay! Olivia jumped. Arya, you're going to be my little friend. The baby let out a giggle and everyone laughed along. At that moment, something shifted in the air. It was no longer just an act of charity. It was the beginning of something bigger. Michael looked at Riley and saw not just a broken woman, but someone with courage, with fight, with dignity. Someone who deserved a second chance. Riley looked at Michael and saw not just a rich man, but someone with a heart, with empathy, with kindness. Someone who had chosen to help without expecting anything in return. And Olivia, in her 5-year-old innocence, had already decided that Riley and Arya were part of the family. The pains of the past were still there, but now there was hope. And hope, sometimes, is all we need to start over. The following days brought a new routine to Michael's house. Riley still woke up early, accustomed to months of sleeping in unsafe places, but now, when she opened her eyes, she saw the white ceiling of the guest room, felt the soft mattress beneath her, and Arya breathing peacefully beside her. It was real. She was safe. That morning, she went downstairs with Arya in her arms and found Olivia already in the living room, surrounded by toys. The girl was building a tower of colorful blocks, her tongue sticking out in concentration. Good morning. Olivia jumped up as soon as she saw Riley. Good morning, sweetie. Can I play with Arya today? Olivia's blue eyes sparkled with excitement. Riley smiled. Of course, but she's still very little, okay? You have to be careful. I will be. I promise. Riley placed Arya on the soft carpet in the living room, surrounding the baby with pillows. Olivia sat down next to her immediately, picking up a brown teddy bear. Look, Arya, it's Mr. Cuddles. She shook the teddy bear in front of the baby. Arya extended her little hands, trying to grab it. Olivia laughed and handed the toy to her. The baby took the teddy bear straight to her mouth. She likes to chew on everything, Riley explained, sitting on the sofa near them. Why? Because her little teeth are coming in. It must itch her gums. Olivia made a thoughtful face. Oh, like when I lose a tooth and another one grows. More or less, Olivia nodded, satisfied. She picked up a colorful rattle and shook it near Arya. The baby dropped the teddy bear and looked at the noise, fascinated. Look how she's looking at me, Riley. Olivia was radiant. I think she likes me. She definitely does. She's so tiny. Olivia touched Arya's little hand gently. Was I like that too? You were. Everyone was a baby once. Olivia smiled, delighted. Michael appeared in the doorway of the living room, holding a cup of coffee. He stopped there, watching. Olivia was completely engaged with Arya, talking to the baby, showing her toys, making faces to elicit smiles. He hadn't seen his daughter so happy in a long time. Since her mother died, Olivia had become quieter, more reserved. But now, with Riley and Arya there, she was truly becoming a child again. Would you like coffee? Michael asked Riley. Yes, thank you. He went to the kitchen and came back with a cup for her. Riley accepted it, grateful. Olivia is loving having company, Michael commented, sitting in the armchair. Arya too. Riley smiled, watching her daughter giggle. She never had the chance to play with other children. Now she does. Riley looked at him, and their eyes met. There was something there, a silent connection that both felt but neither mentioned. Michael looked away first, taking a sip of coffee. In the living room, Olivia had started singing a children's song. Arya clapped her hands out of rhythm, trying to follow along. She tried to clap her hands. Olivia shouted excitedly. Daddy, did you see? I saw it, sweetie. Michael smiled. Well done, Arya. Riley laughed too, moved. Michael observed everything attentively. The house had come to life. There was the sound of laughter, of playing, of joy, something that had been missing for 3 years. "Can I teach her to crawl?" Olivia asked. "She's almost able to do it herself," Riley explained. "But you can encourage her." Olivia lay down on her stomach on the floor, placing a colorful toy a little far from Aria. "Come on, Aria, come get it." The baby looked at the toy, then at Olivia. She put her little hands on the floor and tried to scoot. "That's it, that's it." Olivia clapped her hands. "You can do it." Aria scooted a little further, using her elbows until she managed to grab the toy. Olivia celebrated as if she had seen the most incredible thing in the world. "She did it, Daddy." Michael laughed. "I saw it, sweetie. Aria is very smart." Riley laughed too, touched. Michael watched everything closely. The house had gained life. There was the sound of laughter, of playing, of joy, something that had been missing for 3 years. Later, at lunchtime, Olivia insisted on helping Riley feed Aria. "I want to give her the baby food." "Okay, but slowly, or she might choke." Riley placed Aria in the high chair that Michael had bought the day before. Olivia picked up the small spoon, dipping it into the vegetable puree. "Like this? Perfect. Now put it to her mouth." Olivia slowly brought the spoon closer. Aria opened her mouth and ate. "She ate it?" Olivia cheered. "One more?" Aria opened her mouth again, and Olivia gave her another spoonful. Some food fell onto the bib, but the girl didn't mind. "You're doing very well," Riley praised. "I like taking care of her." Olivia smiled. "It's like she's my little sister." Riley felt her eyes sting. Olivia was only 5 years old, but she already had a giant heart. Michael was leaning against the kitchen doorway, watching. He saw Riley's patience teaching Olivia, the affection with which she treated his daughter, the gentle way she was with everything. He found himself admiring not only her strength, but the person she was. There was something about Riley that touched him deeply. It was the way she hadn't lost her kindness, her gentleness, her capacity to love. In the afternoon, while Aria was taking a nap, Olivia asked Riley to play house. "You can be the mommy and I'll be the big sister." Riley agreed, sitting on the living room floor. They built an imaginary house with the toys. "Mommy, what are we going to eat today?" Olivia asked. "Let's make cake." "Yay! I love chocolate cake." They pretended to mix ingredients, used the toy oven, and then served imaginary slices. Michael walked past the living room and stopped when he saw the two of them playing. Riley was laughing, completely engrossed, and Olivia was radiant. He sat on the sofa just watching. "Daddy, do you want a piece of cake?" Olivia offered an imaginary slice. "I do, thank you." He pretended to eat. "It's delicious. Riley made it." "Then it's perfect." Riley smiled shyly, feeling her face warm up. Later, when Aria woke up, Olivia wanted to play hide-and-seek. Of course, Aria didn't understand, but Olivia improvised. "I'm going to hide and you count to 10 with Aria." "Okay." Riley covered Aria's eyes and started counting out loud. Olivia ran and hid behind the sofa, giggling softly. 10. "Shall we find Olivia, Aria?" Riley walked through the living room with Aria in her arms, pretending to look. "Where is Olivia? Is she back here?" Riley looked behind the curtain. Aria giggled. "She's not here. Is she over there?" Riley approached the sofa and Olivia jumped out, shouting, "Found you!" Aria let out a cry of joy, and they all laughed together. Michael was in the office, but he heard everything. The laughter, the playing, the joy. He closed his laptop and went to the living room. Riley was sitting on the floor, Aria in her lap, and Olivia hugging her. The three were looking at a colorful picture book. "This is an elephant," Olivia pointed. Aria tapped the page, babbling sounds. "She's trying to talk." Olivia got excited. "Aria, say elephant." The baby just babbled more, and Olivia laughed. Riley smiled, stroking Olivia's blonde hair. "Aria, you're a great teacher. When I grow up, I'm going to be a real teacher." Michael leaned against the doorway, arms crossed, observing. There was something about the image of the three of them together that deeply moved him. Riley looked up and met his gaze. For a moment, they just looked at each other. She gave a small, shy smile. He returned it. And in that silence, something passed between them. Something neither of them was ready to name, but which was already there, growing slowly. At night, after Olivia and Arya were asleep, Riley went down to get water. The house was quiet. Michael was in the kitchen, looking at his cell phone. "I thought everyone was asleep already," he commented. "Me too." Riley picked up the glass. "I'm not used to sleeping so early yet." "Want to sit down for a bit?" She hesitated, but sat at the table. "Olivia is very happy with you here," Michael began. "I haven't seen her like this in a while." "She is an incredible girl," Riley spoke sincerely. "You raised her very well." "I try, but it's hard alone." Riley nodded. "I know what it's like." They fell into a comfortable silence. "Thank you, Michael," Riley said softly, "for everything you're doing. You don't need to thank me." "Yes, I do. You changed my life. Arya's life too." He looked at her intensely. "You changed ours too." Riley felt her heart race. There was something in the way he looked at her, in the tone of his voice. The house was too quiet. Michael admitted, "I hadn't noticed until you arrived. Olivia seems like a happy girl." "She is, but something was missing." He paused. "Real joy." Riley didn't know what to say. "And you brought that." She felt her eyes sting. They stayed there, talking about small things, about Olivia, about Arya, about old dreams. And little by little, they really got to know each other, and the bond between them all just grew. Riley was in the living room playing with Arya when her cell phone rang. It was an unknown number. She hesitated but answered. "Hello? Riley Dawson." An impatient male voice spoke from the other end. "Yes, that's me. This is the manager of the building where you used to live. Your things are still here in storage. If you don't come get them by this afternoon, we're throwing everything away." Riley felt her blood run cold. "Today, but I can't go right now." "That's not my problem. Either you come get them, or they go in the trash. You have until 5 o'clock this afternoon." The line went dead. Riley stood still, holding her phone, her heart pounding. Her things, everything that remained of the life she had before, photos, clothes, documents, Arya's birth certificate, everything. She looked at the clock. It was noon. She had 5 hours. Michael entered the living room at that moment, coming from the office. "Is everything okay?" he asked when he saw her expression. Riley shook her head, trying to hold back the tears. I just got a call from the building where I used to live. And they're going to throw my things away today. If I don't pick them up by 5. Michael didn't hesitate for a second. "I'll take you." Riley looked at him, surprised. "No, you don't need to." "I'll take you," he repeated, firm. "We're going to get your things. But you must have work, and—" "Riley?" Michael approached. "I'll take you, no discussion." She felt her eyes fill with tears. Gave gratitude, of relief. "Thank you." 15 minutes later, they were in the car. Olivia had stayed home with the babysitter Michael had quickly called, looking after Arya. Riley gave him the address, and Michael drove in silence. She looked out the window, nervous. She hadn't been back to that place since the day she was evicted. The memory still hurt. They arrived at the building. It was an old, poorly maintained building with peeling paint on the exterior walls. Michael parked in front. "Is this it?" Riley nodded. They went inside. The ground floor hallway smelled of mold and cigarette smoke. Riley guided Michael to the storage room in the back. When they opened the door, she saw it. Her things were piled up in the corner. Crushed cardboard boxes, torn plastic bags, everything thrown carelessly. Riley approached slowly, her legs trembling. She opened one of the boxes. Inside, there were clothes she used to wear before she got pregnant. Framed photos of her with her mother, who had died years ago. A baby album her grandmother had made for her. Everything was there. Everything that remained. She picked up a photo. It was her smiling, at 20 years old, full of dreams. She looked like a different person. The tears began to fall. "Riley." Michael touched her shoulder gently. This was my home, she whispered, her voice broken. It was small, it was simple, but it was mine. Michael didn't know what to say, he just stood there beside her. Riley opened another box. She found Aria's birth certificate, important documents, some baby clothes she had saved. I lost everything, she cried. Everything I built, everything I had. It's gone. Michael crouched down beside her. But you didn't lose the most important thing. Riley looked at him, confused. You have Aria, he spoke firmly, and the two of you are fine. We'll rebuild the rest. She wiped her tears, trying to compose herself. Let's take all of this. Michael started picking up the boxes. Nothing is staying here. They worked together, carrying boxes and bags to the car. They were few things, actually. Everything Riley had in the world fit in the trunk of a car. That made her cry even more. When they finished, Riley looked one last time at the empty storage hallway. That was the official end of the life she had before. Let's go. Michael touched her back gently. On the way back, Riley was silent. She looked out the window, lost in thought. Michael drove out, watching her occasionally out of the corner of his eye. Riley, she turned to him. Bring everything home, he said. We'll sort it out later. No rush. I can't keep storing my things at your house, Michael. Yes, you can. You've already done so much, and I'll continue to do so, he interrupted her, because I want to. Riley felt her chest tighten. Why? Why was he doing all this? I don't understand, she admitted softly. Why are you helping me so much? Michael was silent for a moment, thinking about the answer. Because it's the right thing to do, he finally said. And because you and Aria deserve it. Riley wiped away another tear. I'll find a way to repay you, I promise. You don't need to promise anything, just accept the help. She nodded, too weak to argue. When they got home, Michael helped carry everything to the guest room where Riley was staying. They stacked the boxes in a corner. You can organize it on your own time, he said. No rush. Riley looked at him, and for the first time in a long time, she felt she wasn't alone. Thank you, Michael, truly. He smiled. You're welcome. When he left, Riley sat on the bed looking at the boxes. They were just things, objects, but they represented an entire life, a life that was over. And now, she was starting another one. Different, uncertain, but with hope, and maybe, just maybe, that was enough. The following days brought a subtle but profound change to Michael's house. Riley woke up early, as usual. But now, instead of just staying in the room, she went downstairs and started to help. In the beginning, they were small things. Washing her own coffee cup, tidying the sofa pillows, folding the towels that were dry. Michael noticed but didn't say anything. He just watched. One morning, he came downstairs and found the kitchen tidy. The dishes from the night before were washed and put away. The table was clean. The floor was swept. Riley was making coffee, with Aria in the high chair next to her, playing with a rubber toy. Good morning, she smiled when she saw Michael. Good morning, he looked around. Did you clean everything up? Riley shrugged, a little embarrassed. I woke up early and decided to help. I hope you don't mind. I don't mind, but you don't have to. I know, she interrupted him gently. But I want to. You're doing so much for me and Aria. It's the least I can do. Michael didn't argue. He just accepted the coffee she poured for him. In the following days, Riley started doing more. She organized Olivia's toys that were scattered around the living room. She washed the dishes after meals. She wiped the table. She dusted the furniture. Nothing excessive, just enough to show gratitude. And then, she started to cook. The first time was on a Saturday morning. Michael woke up to a delicious smell coming from the kitchen. He went downstairs and found Riley preparing pancakes. Olivia was sitting at the table, excited, watching everything. She's making pancakes, Daddy, Olivia announced. Riley turned, a little self-conscious. I hope you don't mind. I found the ingredients and decided to make them. I don't mind. Michael sat at the table. It smells really good. Riley served a stack of golden pancakes with maple syrup and fruit on the side. Olivia immediately dug in, eating with relish. Michael took the first bite and closed his eyes. "It's delicious," Riley smiled, satisfied. "I'm glad." From that day on, Riley started cooking more often. She made homemade soups that filled the house with a comforting smell, chocolate chip cookies that Olivia loved, simple pasta dishes but made with care. The house came alive. There was always something in the oven, a pleasant smell in the air, a sound in the kitchen. Olivia became completely attached to Riley. She followed her around the house, helped her organize things, and sat next to her while she cooked. "Can I help?" Olivia always asked. "Of course. Come here." Riley taught Olivia how to crack eggs, stir the batter, and decorate cookies. The girl loved every second of it. Michael watched everything from a distance. He saw Riley's patience, the affectionate way she treated Olivia, as if she were her own daughter, and something inside him began to change. He had spent 3 years alone, taking care of Olivia, working, keeping a routine. It was functional, but empty. Now, with Riley and Arya there, the house had truly become a home again. There was laughter in the living room, music playing softly while Riley cooked, the sound of Arya babbling, Olivia running and playing life. Michael started coming home earlier from work, not because he needed to, but because he wanted to be home. He wanted to see Riley in the kitchen, focused, with a lock of blonde hair falling onto her face. He wanted to hear Olivia laughing with Arya. He wanted to smell home-cooked food. He wanted to be near her. He tried to ignore what he was feeling at first. It was just gratitude, he told himself, just admiration for her strength. But little by little, it became harder to deny. Riley had something that stirred him. It wasn't just her subtle beauty, her gentle light eyes, her shy smile. It was the person she was. Strong yet vulnerable, brave yet afraid, a fighter yet delicate. And she was good with Olivia. Very good. One evening, Michael came downstairs to get water and found Riley in the living room, folding clean clothes. They were his and Olivia's clothes that had come out of the dryer. "You don't need to do that," he said. Riley looked up at him and smiled. "I know, but I want to help." "You already help a lot. It's never too much." Michael sat on the sofa, watching her fold the clothes carefully. There was something comforting about it. "The house is different," he commented. "Different how?" "More alive." Riley paused, looking at him. "That's good to hear." "It's the truth." Michael held her gaze. "You brought something that was missing here." Riley felt her face warm up. "Olivia is an amazing girl. It's easy to like her. She adores you." Michael smiled. "She doesn't stop talking about you. And I adore her too." They were silent for a moment, a comfortable silence, but full of something unspoken. In the following days, the routine continued. Riley cooked, cleaned, took care of Arya, and helped with Olivia. But it wasn't just obligation. She genuinely liked doing it. For the first time in a long time, she felt useful. She felt part of something. Michael started noticing small things, the way Riley sang softly while she cooked, the way she smiled when Olivia told a story, the affection she had for Arya, even when the baby cried or was fussy. He caught himself thinking about her during the day, when he was in meetings, when he was driving, when he was working in the office. Riley had entered his life unexpectedly, and now he couldn't imagine the house without her. That scared him a little. He wasn't looking for anything. He wasn't ready to open up again. But Riley was there every day with her shy smile and her huge heart. And he was starting to feel something he hadn't felt in years. One afternoon, Michael came home from work and found Riley in the kitchen making cookies with Olivia. Both had dough on their hands, laughing. "Daddy!" Olivia ran to him. "We're making chocolate chip cookies." "I see." He smiled, looking at Riley. She had a little flower on her face, her hair tied in a messy ponytail, and she was smiling. Michael felt his chest tighten. She was beautiful, not just on the outside, on the inside too. "Want to taste the batter?" Riley offered, extending a spoon. Michael approached and tasted it. "Oh, it's perfect. Olivia made it. I just helped." "That's not true," Olivia protested. "Riley did everything." The three of them laughed. That night, after Olivia and Aria were asleep, Michael was thinking, the house was different, he was different, and it was all because of Riley. He knew he was starting to feel something for her, something deep, something real. But did she feel the same way? He didn't know. And for now, he didn't have the courage to ask. But one thing was certain. Riley had brought light, sound, and joy back to his house. And he didn't want that to end. It was a Friday night. Olivia had gone to sleep early, tired from a full day of playing. Aria was also in her crib, peaceful. The house was quiet, only the sound of the rain outside breaking the silence. Riley was in the kitchen, preparing something simple for her and Michael. He had worked late, and she knew he hadn't eaten dinner properly. She was chopping vegetables when Michael appeared in the doorway, still in his dress shirt, but with the sleeves rolled up and the top button open. "I thought you were asleep already," he commented. "I couldn't sleep," Riley smiled. "And you haven't eaten properly, so I decided to make some soup." "You didn't have to." "I know, but I wanted to." Michael approached, washing his hands in the sink. "Can I help?" Riley looked at him, surprised. "You can. Grab that pot over there." They started cooking together. Michael cut potatoes while Riley sautéed onions and garlic. The good smell started to fill the kitchen. "You're a good cook," Michael commented. "I learned from my mother," Riley said, stirring the pot. "She always said, food made with care nourishes more than just the belly." "She's right," Riley smiled sadly. "She died when I was 22. Cancer." "I'm so sorry." "It was hard," Riley admitted. "She was all I had." Michael put the potatoes in the pot. "What about your father?" "I never met him. He left before I was born." Michael stopped, looking at her. "You've been through a lot alone. I didn't have a choice," Riley shrugged. "So we survive any way we can." They were silent for a moment, just cooking. "What about you?" Riley asked. "What was it like losing your wife?" Michael took a deep breath. He didn't talk about it often. "It was devastating," he admitted. "Car accident. Suddenly she wasn't here anymore." Riley stopped stirring the soup and looked at him. "Olivia was 2 years old," Michael continued, his voice low. "She was too small to understand. She kept asking for her mother every day." "How did you cope with it?" "I don't know if I coped properly." He gave a bitter smile. "I just survived. I worked. I took care of her. I maintained the routine. But the house became empty." Riley felt her chest tighten. "Dice until you arrived." Michael looked at her. Then everything changed. Their eyes met. There was something there, an intensity neither of them could ignore. Riley looked away first, going back to stirring the soup. "Do you have any plans?" Michael asked after a while. "For the future," Riley laughed without humor. "Plans? I barely know what I'm going to do tomorrow. But you must have dreams. Something you want to achieve." She paused, thoughtful. "I wanted to have a stable life," Riley spoke softly. "A safe place for Aria to grow up. Maybe go back to school, get a real job. But it seems so far away now." "It's not that far away." Riley looked at him. "Yes, it is, Michael. I have nothing. No degree, no relevant experience, no money saved. How am I going to start over from scratch?" "With help." "I'm already overusing your help." Michael approached, standing next to her. "You're not overusing anything." He spoke firmly. "And I want to help you find that path." Riley felt her eyes sting. "Why? Why would you do that for me?" Michael was silent for a moment, searching for the right words. "Because you deserve it," he finally said. "You fought so hard, went through so much. You deserve a chance to start over." Riley wiped away a tear that threatened to fall. "I'm afraid," she admitted. "Afraid of failing again. Afraid of not being able to give Aria a good life." "You won't fail." "How do you know?" "Because I see who you are." Michael held her gaze. "You are strong. You are a fighter. You are good. You won't give up." Riley felt her heart race. He was so close. She could feel his warmth, the smell of the subtle cologne he wore. "What if I'm not strong enough?" she whispered. "Then I'll be here to catch you when you fall." The air between them became heavy, charged with something unspoken. Riley looked at his lips for a fraction of a second before looking away. Michael noticed, and he felt his chest tighten. He wanted to get closer. He wanted to touch her face, feel her skin. He wanted to... But he held back. It was too soon. She was still vulnerable, still recovering. He couldn't take advantage of that. Riley went back to stirring the soup, trying to hide her nervousness. "The soup is almost ready," she said, her voice a little shaky. "Great." They served 2 bowls and sat at the table. They ate in silence, but it wasn't an uncomfortable silence. It was a silence filled with things neither of them had the courage to say. "It's delicious," Michael commented. "Thank you." They continued eating, exchanging glances occasionally. "Riley," Michael began after a while, "yes, I want you to know that you can stay here as long as you need to. No rush to leave, no pressure." Riley looked at him, emotional. "Michael, I can't stay here forever." "Why not?" The question hung in the air. Riley didn't know how to answer. Part of her wanted to stay. She wanted that house, that routine, that feeling of belonging. But another part was afraid. Afraid of getting used to it. Afraid of building expectations. Afraid of getting hurt. "Because," she began, but couldn't finish. Michael leaned forward. "Because what?" Riley took a deep breath. "Because I don't want to mess up your life. You have your life, your daughter, your job. You don't need more problems." "You're not a problem," Michael spoke with intensity. "Quite the opposite." "What do you mean?" He paused, choosing his words. "You brought life back to this house, to me, to Olivia." Michael held her gaze. "I don't want you to leave." Riley felt her heart race. There was something in the way he spoke, in the way he looked at her. She wanted to say something, but the words wouldn't come out. She began. At that moment, Arya started crying in the room. The sound broke the moment. Riley immediately got up. "I need to go check on her." "Of course." She ran up the stairs, her heart still pounding. Michael remained seated in the kitchen, running his hands through his hair. He had been so close to admitting what he was feeling, but maybe it was better this way. He didn't want to rush anything. He didn't want to scare Riley. But one thing was certain. He was starting to care about her in a way he hadn't planned, and he no longer knew how to stop. In the room, Riley picked up Arya, calming the baby. But she herself was nervous. What had happened down there? That moment, that connection, those glances. She couldn't deny what she was feeling. Michael had become important to her. Very important. But was it right to feel this? Was she confusing gratitude with something else? She didn't know. She only knew that when she was near him, she felt safe. She felt seen. She felt alive, and that both scared and calmed her at the same time. The connection between them was growing slowly but steadily, and neither of them knew what to do with it. For now, they were just letting it happen. No rush, no pressure, just feeling. It was a quiet Sunday afternoon. Riley was sitting on the living room rug with Olivia next to her. The girl had spread colored pencils and paper everywhere, drawing with concentration. Arya was sleeping on the sofa, surrounded by pillows. Michael was in the office, catching up on some emails. "What are you drawing?" Riley asked, curious. Olivia looked at the drawing and smiled. "A family." Riley leaned closer to get a better look. On the paper, there were 4 figures. A tall one, which seemed to be Michael. A smaller one next to him, Olivia, and 2 other figures, an adult and a baby. Riley's heart tightened. "It's beautiful," she spoke softly. Olivia continued drawing, adding details. She drew a sun in the corner, clouds, flowers on the ground. They were silent for a while, only the sound of the pencils on the paper. Then, suddenly, Olivia stopped drawing. "Riley?" "Yes, sweetie." Olivia looked at her, her blue eyes serious. "I miss having a mommy." Riley froze. She didn't expect that. "Olivia." "I was very little when my mommy went to heaven," Olivia continued, her voice low. I don't remember much about her. I only remember her smell sometimes. Riley felt her eyes sting. I know she loved me, Olivia said. Daddy always tells stories about her, but I don't remember. She loved you very much. I'm sure of it, Olivia nodded, looking at the drawing. But you know what's funny? What? Olivia looked at Riley again. When you're here, my heart feels warm. Riley felt the tears start to fall. Olivia, it's true, the girl insisted. When you cook, when you play with me, when you take care of Arya, I feel happy. Riley couldn't speak. She just listened. And I know my daddy feels lonely, Olivia continued, with the innocent wisdom of a child. He doesn't say it, but I see it. Sometimes he looks sad when he thinks I'm not looking. Your daddy loves you very much. I know, Olivia smiled. But he needs someone too. Riley wiped her tears, trying to control herself. Sass, why are you telling me this? Olivia went back to drawing, as if it were the simplest thing in the world. Because I wanted you to know. You make us happy. Riley hugged Olivia without warning, a tight hug, full of emotion. Olivia returned it, hugging back. I'm happy here too, Riley whispered. Very happy. They stayed like that for a while, just hugging. When they let go, Olivia went back to drawing calm. But Riley was completely shaken. Those words had deeply affected her. Olivia's sincerity, the way she saw things, the purity of that little heart. Michael appeared in the living room doorway at that moment. Is everything okay here? Riley quickly wiped her tears. Everything's great. He noticed she had been crying but didn't ask anything. He just sat on the sofa observing the two of them. Olivia held up the drawing. Look, Daddy, I drew us. Michael took the paper and looked. He saw the 4 figures, clearly representing him, Olivia, Riley, and Arya. He felt his chest tighten. It's beautiful, sweetie. Can I put it on the fridge? Of course. Olivia ran off with the drawing, leaving Riley and Michael alone. Riley was sitting on the floor, hugging her knees, looking at Arya sleeping. What happened? Michael asked softly. Riley took a deep breath. Olivia said she misses having a mother. Michael closed his eyes. He knew his daughter felt that way, but hearing it was different. She said that when I'm here, her heart feels warm. Riley continued, her voice choked. Michael looked at her, and she said, you feel lonely. He was silent. How did Olivia notice these things? She was only 5 years old. She's not wrong, Michael admitted. Riley looked up at him. About what? About me feeling lonely. He held her gaze. Until you got here. Riley felt her heart race. Michael. It's the truth. He stood up, sitting on the floor next to her. You brought life back to this house, to Olivia, to me. I don't know what to say. You don't need to say anything. Michael looked at Arya sleeping. I just wanted you to know. They were silent for a moment, a silence charged with emotion. I'm afraid, Riley admitted softly. Of what? Of getting used to all this, of building expectations, of getting hurt. Michael turned to her. I would never hurt you. You can't promise that. Yes, I can. Riley shook her head. Things change, Michael. People change, not always for the worse. She looked at him, searching for sincerity, and found it. Olivia is incredible. Riley changed the subject. She has a huge heart. She takes after her mother. Michael smiled sadly. Sarah was like that too, saw the best in people. Do you still miss her? I always will, he admitted. But I've learned to live with it. Riley nodded. She would be happy seeing you taking such good care of Olivia. I hope so. They stayed there, side by side, watching Arya sleep. Riley, Michael spoke after a while. Yes? You don't have to be afraid, not here. She looked at him. It's hard not to be afraid after everything I've been through. I know. He touched her hand gently. But I'm here, and I won't let you fall. Riley felt the tears return. Why are you so good to me? Because you deserve it. Olivia ran back into the living room at that moment. "I hung it on the fridge," she announced proudly. Riley quickly wiped her tears, smiling. "That's great." Olivia jumped into Michael's lap. "Daddy, can we make popcorn and watch a movie?" "We can." He looked at Riley. "Are you coming?" Riley hesitated, but finally agreed. "I am." They went to the kitchen to make popcorn. Olivia chose an animated movie. Aria woke up, and Riley picked up the baby. They sat on the sofa, all four of them together, Olivia between Riley and Michael, Aria in Riley's lap. And there, in that simple moment, they looked like a real family. Michael looked at Riley. She was smiling, watching the movie with Olivia. And he realized something he already knew but hadn't had the courage to admit. He was falling in love with her. And he no longer knew how to stop. The emotional tension between them only grew. It was there, in the air, in every glance, in every unspoken word, but neither of them was ready to cross that line. Not yet. For now, they were just enjoying the moment, together. As a family, the night was quiet. Olivia and Aria had been asleep for hours. The house was silent, only the sound of the clock on the wall breaking the tranquility. Michael went downstairs to get water and saw a light on in the living room. Riley was sitting on the sofa, looking out the window, lost in thought. She was wearing an old hoodie and had her knees hugged against her chest. There was something different about her, something heavy. "Is everything okay?" Michael asked softly. Riley jumped in, returning quickly. "Sorry, I didn't mean to startle you." He approached. "It's okay. I was just thinking." Michael sat down next to her on the sofa, keeping a respectful distance. "Do you want to talk about what you're thinking?" Riley was silent for a moment. She looked at her hands, nervous. "But there are things I've never told anyone," she admitted softly. "You don't have to tell me if you don't want to." "I know, but maybe I need to." Michael waited patiently. Riley took a deep breath, gathering her courage. "What haven't you told anyone?" Michael asked carefully. She closed her eyes, feeling the tears well up. "I almost left, Aria." Michael frowned, confused. "What do you mean?" Riley wiped away a tear that escaped. "After she was born, I went into depression. It was horrible. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat properly. I couldn't think." Michael listened in silence, just paying attention. "I was alone, with no money, no support. And Aria cried so much." Riley shook her head. "I felt like a terrible mother. I thought she deserved something better than me." "Riley, one day, I picked her up and went to an orphanage," she confessed, her voice breaking. Michael felt his chest tighten. "I went in there, holding her. I spoke to the social worker. I said I wasn't able to raise my daughter." Riley was crying now, the tears falling non-stop. "I thought it was the best thing I could do for her." Michael was silent, processing. The woman took Aria in her arms. She started filling out papers, and I stood there, still feeling like the worst person in the world. Riley sobbed, but I was convinced it was the right thing to do. "What happened?" Riley wiped her face and trying to control herself. "The social worker gave me the papers to sign. I took the pen. But before signing, I looked at Aria one last time." She paused, emotion taking over, and she smiled at me. Michael felt his eyes sting. It was a tiny smile. "One of those baby smiles," Riley continued. And she reached out her little arm, trying to reach me. "Riley?" I broke down. She cried harder. I fell into tears right there. I took Aria back from the woman and ran out. I ran out of the orphanage without looking back. Michael didn't know what to say. He just listened, profoundly moved. "I felt so bad, Michael, so guilty." Riley looked at him, her eyes red. "What kind of mother thinks about abandoning her own child?" "A desperate mother," Michael spoke firmly. "A mother alone, without support, without resources. That's not an excuse. It's context," he corrected. "And you didn't abandon her. You turned back. But I thought about doing it. Thinking is different from doing." Michael moved closer. "Riley, you were going through postpartum depression, alone, with no help. It's a miracle you survived." Riley shook her head, inconsolable. "I failed her." "No, you didn't fail." Michael took her hands, holding them tightly. You fought. You resisted. You protected her even when you had no strength. But you didn't, he interrupted her. You chose to stay. You chose to fight. You chose to be her mother, Riley cried. But now there was relief in the tears, as if a weight had been lifted from her shoulders. I carry that guilt every day, she admitted. You shouldn't carry it, Michael spoke with intensity. You did the best you could with what you had, and look at Arya now. She's healthy, happy, loved. Thanks to you. No, thanks to you. Michael held her gaze. You are her mother. You took care of her when no one else would. You slept on the street to protect her from the cold. That's not failure, Riley. That's love. Riley sobbed once more. I'm so afraid of not being good enough for her. You are more than good enough. Michael touched her face gently, wiping away the tears. You are amazing. Riley looked into his eyes. There was so much sincerity there, so much affection. Thank you for listening to me, she whispered. Thank you for trusting me. They stayed like that for a moment, their hands intertwined, their gazes connected. Riley. Michael spoke softly. Yes. You didn't bring problems into my house. You brought joy. Riley felt her chest tighten. You brought life, light, laughter, he continued. You brought happiness to Olivia. And to me. Michael. I know you're afraid, I am too, he admitted, but I don't want you to leave. Riley felt her heart race. There was something different in his voice, in the way he looked at her. I don't know what to do, she confessed. I don't know how to rebuild my life, how to be a good mother, how to... You don't need to know everything now, Michael interrupted her. We'll figure it out together. Together? Yes, together. Riley felt the tears return, but now they were different tears, of emotion, of hope. So I don't want to disappoint you. You won't disappoint me, Michael spoke with certainty. The connection between them exploded at that moment. It was there, raw, intense, impossible to ignore. Riley looked at his lips. Michael looked at hers. The air became heavy, charged with desire and emotion. They slowly moved closer, their breaths uneven. But at the last second, Riley pulled away. I can't, she whispered. Why? Because I'm afraid of ruining everything, she admitted. You and Olivia are too important to me. If I ruin this, you won't ruin it. You don't know that. Michael took a deep breath, respecting her space. It's okay. No rush. Riley nodded, still emotional. Thank you for understanding. Always. They stayed there, side by side on the sofa, their hands still intertwined. The emotional tension was at its peak, but both knew they needed time for Riley to fully heal, time for Michael to process his feelings, time for everything to fall into place. Go to sleep, Michael said gently. Tomorrow is a new day, Riley nodded, slowly getting up. Good night, Michael. Good night, Riley. She went up the stairs, and Michael remained there, alone in the living room, processing everything she had told him, the pain, the guilt, the desperation, and yet she had survived. She had fought. She had chosen to stay. That only made him admire her even more and fall in love even more deeply. The connection between them was stronger than ever, and both knew it was only a matter of time until they couldn't resist anymore. Riley stayed awake all night. After the conversation with Michael, after that intense moment, she couldn't sleep. She stared at the ceiling with Arya sleeping next to her, thinking about everything. The feelings that were growing, the fear she felt, the guilt of becoming so attached. When the sun rose, she had made a decision. She needed to leave, not because she wanted to, but because she was afraid. Afraid of getting hurt, afraid of hurting Michael and Olivia, afraid of building expectations that could crumble. It was better to leave now, before it became impossible. Riley picked up the old suitcase she had stored in the closet. She started putting her clothes inside, slowly, trying to make as little noise as possible. She folded each piece carefully, her eyes teary. She didn't want to leave, but she felt like she needed to. She was packing Arya's clothes when she heard the door open. She turned quickly. Michael was standing in the doorway, looking at the open suitcase on the bed. "What are you doing?" he asked, his voice tense. Riley swallowed hard. I'm packing my things." "Why?" She looked away, unable to face him. "Because I've bothered you enough. It's time for me to go my own way." Michael entered the room, closing the door behind him. "Bothered me enough?" he repeated, incredulous. "Riley, what are you talking about? You've done so much for me, Michael, more than anyone else would." She spoke quickly, trying to stay firm. "But I can't stay here forever. I need to learn to stand on my own 2 feet. And you think you're ready for that now?" "I don't know," Riley admitted. "But I need to try." Michael approached, stopping near the bed. "This has nothing to do with standing on your own 2 feet." He spoke softly. "You're running away." Riley looked at him, her eyes wide. "I'm not running away from anything." "Yes, you are," Michael insisted. "You're afraid of what happened last night, of what you felt." "Of what we both felt?" She shook her head, trying to deny it. "It's not that." "Then what is it?" Riley took a deep breath, the tears starting to fall. "I can't stay here and let things get complicated. You have your life, your daughter, your work. You don't need any more trouble." "You are not trouble." Michael spoke with intensity. "Yes, I am." "No, you're not." He moved closer, standing right next to her. "Riley, since you arrived, this house has come back to life." Riley wiped her tears, trembling. "Michael, don't say that." "It's the truth." He held her arms gently. "I don't want you to leave." "You don't understand." "I understand perfectly." He interrupted her. "You're afraid." "But I am too." Riley looked at him, surprised. "I felt lonely for years," Michael admitted, his voice filled with emotion. "After Sarah died, it was just me and Olivia, and I made it work, but it was empty." She listened in silence, the tears falling non-stop. "Your presence changed everything," he continued. "The house got back its sounds, laughter, joy. Olivia became a child again, and I started to feel like it was worth waking up in the morning again." "Michael." "I'm not ready to lose that." He spoke firmly. "I'm not ready to lose you." Riley sobbed, covering her face with her hands. "I'm so afraid of ruining everything." "You won't ruin it. You don't know that." She looked up at him, desperate. "I've ruined so many things in my life. I lost everything. What if I ruin this too?" "You won't ruin it." Michael held her face with both hands, making her look into his eyes. "Because I won't let you." Riley trembled, feeling the intensity of the moment. "What if you get tired of me? What if Olivia realizes I'm not good enough? What if—" "Stop," Michael interrupted her. "Stop making excuses. They're not excuses. They're real fears." "I know." He spoke softer. "But you can't let fear control you." Riley closed her eyes, letting the tears fall. "I don't know how to do this, Michael. I don't know how to trust again. How to believe things can work out." "Then let me help you learn," he whispered. She opened her eyes, meeting his gaze. "Stay," Michael pleaded. "Please, stay here with us." Riley wanted to say yes. She wanted so badly to say yes, but the words wouldn't come out. "I don't know if I can," she admitted. "Try. Just try." They stood there, still looking at each other. The emotional tension was at its maximum. Riley looked at the open suitcase, then at Michael, then at the crib where Arya was sleeping peacefully. She couldn't leave. She simply couldn't. But she also couldn't admit out loud that she wanted to stay. "Give me more time," she whispered. "Please." Michael nodded, even without fully understanding. "As much time as you need." Riley took a deep breath, trying to calm down. "I'm not leaving today," she finally said. "Promise?" "I promise." Michael slowly let go of her face, giving her space. "Thank you." Riley started taking the clothes out of the suitcase, putting everything back in the closet. Her hands were shaking, but she continued. Michael watched in silence. When she finished, she closed the suitcase and put it in the back of the closet. "Riley," Michael called. She turned. "I don't know what's going to happen between us," he spoke honestly, "but I know I want to find out with you." Riley felt her heart tighten. I want to too, she admitted softly. But I'm so scared. Then we'll be scared together. She gave a weak, emotional smile. Okay. Michael approached and slowly hugged her. Riley let herself be embraced, resting her head on his chest. They stayed like that for a while, just holding each other. Riley felt his heart beating fast. Michael felt her body trembling. Don't leave, he whispered in her ear. So I won't, she promised. When they let go, there was something different between them, something deeper. Michael left the room, leaving Riley alone. She sat on the bed, looking at the closed door. She had almost left. She had almost lost everything because of fear. But something held her back. Maybe it was Michael. Maybe it was Olivia. Maybe it was the fact that, for the first time in a long time, she felt at home. Aria stirred in the crib, waking up. Riley picked up the baby, hugging her. We're staying, Aria, she whispered. We're staying. And for the first time, she truly believed it. The tension between her and Michael was at its peak, but now, at least, they had admitted what they felt. And that was already a start. The following days were different. After that morning, after the attempt to leave, there was something in the air, a tension but also a clarity. Riley and Michael had admitted what they felt, even if indirectly. Now, it was just a matter of time. One afternoon, Riley went downstairs to get water and heard laughter coming from the living room. She stopped at the door, watching. Michael was sitting on the floor with Aria in his lap. He was making funny faces, changing his voice, and the baby was giggling non-stop. Who is this? Michael covered his own face with his hands. Where is Michael? Aria clapped her hands, her eyes sparkling with joy. Found you. He suddenly opened his hands, making an exaggerated face. The baby let out a cry of pure happiness, laughing so hard she almost fell backward. Riley felt her chest tighten, seeing Michael with Aria, taking care of her with such affection, treating her like she was his own daughter, made something inside her completely break down. She leaned against the wall, trying to control the emotion rising in her throat. Michael looked at the door and saw Riley standing there, with tears in her eyes. Oops, I think Mommy showed up, he said to Aria, getting up with the baby in his arms. Shall we go see her? Riley quickly wiped her tears, trying to hide them. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. You didn't interrupt anything. Michael approached, noticing the emotion on her face. Is everything okay? Riley nodded, but the tears kept falling. Riley, it's just that, she began, her voice choked. Seeing you with her like that, taking care of her, making her laugh, it really gets to me. Michael understood immediately. He handed Aria to Riley and touched her arm gently. Come sit down. They went to the sofa. Riley held Aria in her lap, and Michael sat next to her. The baby played with Riley's fingers, oblivious to the conversation. What's going on? Michael asked gently. Riley took a deep breath, trying to collect herself. I'm so afraid of the future, she admitted, looking at Aria. Afraid of not being able to give her a good life. Afraid of not being enough. You are enough. But what if I'm not? Riley looked at him, her eyes full of insecurity. What if I fail again? What if things get bad and I can't protect her? Michael touched her hand firmly. You're not alone anymore. You don't have to carry everything by yourself, but I can't depend on you forever. Why not? Riley was silent, processing the question. Riley, I'm here because I want to be. Michael spoke with conviction. It's not an obligation. It's not charity. It's a choice, my choice. She wiped away another tear that fell. I'm afraid of being rejected again, she confessed softly. Aria's father rejected me when I needed him most. My own father rejected me before I was even born. What if you reject me too one day? Michael squeezed her hand, making her look at him. I won't reject you. You can't promise that. Yes, I can. He turned to her completely. Because I know what I feel, and that won't change. Riley looked at him, her heart racing. You brought life back to me. Michael spoke with emotion. I was just surviving before, just going through the motions, taking care of Olivia, working. But you changed that. You, Arya, the joy you brought. Michael, I don't want to run away from this. He held both of her hands now, letting Arya play alone on the rug. I want to embrace this. Embrace you. Riley started crying harder. I'm so afraid of building expectations and everything crumbling, of believing it can work and then losing everything again. Then we build it together. He spoke with determination, slowly, carefully, but together. Riley looked into his eyes and saw sincerity. She saw commitment. She saw love. I don't know how to do this, she admitted, vulnerable. I don't know how to trust completely again. No one does. We learn along the way. She gave a faint, emotional smile. You're so sure about everything. I am. Michael didn't hesitate, because I know what I feel for you. Riley felt the air leave her lungs. He had practically admitted everything. Without thinking, driven by emotion, she leaned in and hugged him, a desperate hug, full of need, of relief, of gratitude. Michael immediately hugged her back, holding her tightly. It was an intense embrace, full of promise, of everything they couldn't say in words. They stayed like that for a long time, just holding each other, feeling each other's breath, the warmth, the connection. Thank you, Riley whispered in his ear. Jai for not giving up on me. I will never give up. When they let go, there were tears in both their eyes, but they were good tears, of happiness, of hope. Michael wiped her face gently, with a tenderness that made her feel loved. There's something I want to show you. What? Come with me. He stood up, extending his hand. Riley accepted it. Curious. Can Arya stay here? She asked, looking at the baby playing peacefully. Olivia is in her room. I'll call her to keep an eye on her for a minute. Michael went to Olivia's room and knocked on the door. Sweetie, can you come here for a minute? Olivia appeared, curious, her blonde hair tied in 2 braids. What is it, Daddy? Can you watch Arya for 2 minutes? I need to show Riley something important. Okay, Olivia agreed excitedly. She ran downstairs and sat on the floor next to Arya, already picking up a toy to entertain her little sister. Michael returned and took Riley's hand, intertwining their fingers. Close your eyes. What? Trust me. Riley closed her eyes, nervous but trusting. Michael guided her down the hallway, carefully going up the stairs. They stopped in front of a door Riley had never entered. You can open them now. Riley opened her eyes and saw the closed door in front of her. What is this? Open it. She slowly turned the doorknob and pushed the door open, and then she saw it, a completely new room, transformed, decorated with so much love that it was impossible not to notice. It was a baby's room. The walls were painted a soft pink mixed with white, a beautiful light wood crib in the center, with soft sheets and a delicate quilt, a fluffy, soft rug on the floor, perfect for Arya to crawl on. A mobile of clouds and stars hung over the crib, gently turning. A comfortable and cozy nursing chair in the corner, with a blanket folded over the arm. Shelves on the wall with small toys organized by color. A white dresser full of new clothes, all carefully folded in various sizes. There was even a plaque on the wall with the name Arya, in delicate artistic letters. Riley brought her hand to her mouth, completely shocked. Michael, what is this? It's for Arya. He spoke softly, emotionally. I made this room for her. For our daughter. The tears started falling immediately, uncontrollably. When did you do all this? Over the last few days. While you were busy with Olivia, I hired someone to put everything together quickly. I wanted to surprise you. Riley slowly entered the room, touching things gently, the soft crib, the mobile that turned softly, the organized clothes in the dresser. Michael, it's too beautiful. She was crying non-stop now, touching every detail. It's perfect. Michael approached from behind, standing close to her. Riley. She turned, her face wet with tears, her eyes red but shining. He took both of her hands, holding them firmly and looking deep into her eyes. By my side, you will be safe. He spoke with genuine emotion. You, Arya, and Olivia. The four of us, Riley sobbed, barely able to breathe from so much emotion. I want to build a happy family with you, Michael confessed, his voice trembling. A real family, not temporary, not provisional, real. Michael, I love you, Riley. He finally said the words. I know it's fast, I know it's intense, but it's true. I fell in love with you, with your strength, your kindness, the way you love Aria. I love you. Riley couldn't speak. She just cried, too emotional to form words. You don't have to answer now, Michael continued, seeing the shock on her face. But I needed you to know that you are important to me, that I want you here, forever. Riley finally found her voice, even if trembling. I love you too, she whispered, the words coming from the bottom of her heart. I was so afraid to admit it, so afraid to give in. But I love you. I love you so much. Michael felt his chest explode with happiness. He pulled her into a tight hug, holding her as if he would never let go. Riley buried her face in his chest, crying with relief, with happiness, with everything. They stayed like that, hugging in the middle of Aria's room, crying together. Suddenly, they heard small, quick footsteps running down the hallway. Daddy! Riley! Where are you? Olivia's excited voice echoed. She appeared at the door with Aria in her arms, stopping abruptly when she saw the room. Wow! She widened her big eyes. How beautiful! It's a princess room. It's Aria's room, Michael explained, smiling through his tears. Olivia slowly entered, looking at everything with admiration and being careful not to drop her little sister. She's going to love it. Look at the crib, look at the little clouds. Then the girl looked at Riley, who was still crying. Why are you crying, Mommy Riley? Riley completely froze. Mommy Riley. Olivia realized what she had said and looked embarrassed, biting her lip. Sorry, it slipped out. No. Riley quickly knelt down in front of her. Don't apologize. You can call me that. Please, you can. Olivia smiled widely, her eyes shining. Mommy Riley. And she hugged Riley's leg tightly, still holding Aria carefully. Riley cried even more, hugging the girl with one hand and holding Aria with the other. So Aria is my real little sister now? Olivia asked, looking between Riley and her father. She is, Michael replied, his voice emotional. You are sisters. Yay! Olivia jumped for joy. I always wanted a little sister. Then she handed Aria to Riley and ran off. I'm going to get something. Wait. She returned seconds later, holding a carefully folded paper. I made this for you, Mommy Riley. She handed the drawing with both hands. Riley slowly opened the paper and felt her heart stop. It was a colorful drawing. 4 figures drawn with colored pencils. Michael, tall and blonde, in a blue shirt. Riley next to him, with loose blonde hair, wearing a pink dress, and their hands were intertwined. Olivia underneath, between the 2 adults, hugging Aria, who was wearing a yellow dress. All the figures had huge smiles drawn on them. A giant sun in the corner, also smiling. Colorful flowers on the ground, birds flying in the blue sky, and at the top, written in crooked, colorful letters full of love, my happy family. Riley completely broke down. She cried so much she could barely breathe, holding the drawing against her chest. Michael immediately hugged her, also emotional, his eyes teary. Olivia hugged both their legs, and Aria, sensing the energy, started clapping her hands. And somehow, the 4 of them stayed there, hugging in a group, crying and laughing at the same time. Let's put Aria in the new crib, Olivia said excitedly, breaking the moment. She needs to test it. Riley laughed through her tears. Let's go. She gently placed Aria in the new crib. The baby looked around, curious, then saw the cloud mobile spinning above her. Aria gave a little shriek of joy and clapped her hands, completely fascinated. She loved it. Olivia clapped her hands too. I knew it. Michael stood next to Riley, putting his arm around her waist, pulling her close. This is our family now. He spoke softly, just for her to hear. Riley looked at him, smiling through her tears. Our family. Olivia held both adults' hands, one in each hand. We're happy now, aren't we? We are, Riley replied, her voice full of certainty. Very happy. Arya babbled something incomprehensible, and everyone laughed. And there, in that beautiful room made with love, with Arya in the crib looking at the mobile fascinated, Olivia between them holding their hands, and Michael by her side, Riley finally felt something she hadn't felt in years. Peace, belonging, home. Truly, a family formed by kindness, by love, by destiny. 4 people who found each other at exactly the right time, when they needed each other the most. And now together, they were going to build a happy life, full of love, laughter, challenges, and overcoming, but especially full of family. Riley looked at Michael, who was smiling at her. "Thank you," she whispered, "for saving me." "You saved me," he replied, touching her face. "Yes, you saved me and Olivia." And in that moment, Riley knew she had found her place in the world, by Michael's side, being a mother to Arya and Olivia, being loved, being happy, finally. If this story touched your heart, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next ones. Leave a like because it helps this story get recommended to more people. See you in the next story.